as it turns out, I drew the short straw for driving the tractor all day. Luckily I don't mind it, but so today is going to be a big day in the saddle. I've filled up with diesel, filled up with AdBlue, all the oils are all good. I've got spare points for the ripper, and I've also got spare shear bolts just in case the unthinkable happens. So I'm just letting the tractor warm up. Obviously it's bloody cold outside, it must have been really close to being a frost. Now I've just made it out to the paddock. It's about 5:30 and I've just set up the GPS. So obviously here I'm in the wrong paddock, so I just need to get the correct paddock. Which one? Here we go, that one. Right, we'll just zero in and should be good. So I'm about to do my first run for the day. It is gonna be a big one. Only 1,999 to go. Following this GPS every about 6 or 7 lines across the paddock and making little islands, if you will. And then once I've made it all the way across the paddock, then I'll turn the GPS off and then I'll just fill in the gaps. But at the moment it looks like we've got an absolute ripper of a sunrise. Get it, ripper? Oh, had that beanie on for too long. So I thought I'd just explain what we're doing here. Now, I'm not going to say it's perfect. I'm not going to say it's the best season ever. In fact, it's probably one of the worst seasons I've seen working here, but also growing up here. This is the machine, right? This is what we're doing. I'm traveling quite fast. And you could say, once I've explained it to you, why aren't you just using a grubber or something like that, or a chisel plow? Well, you see the shape of these legs, and just think about how the soil's going to contact it, come up and fly up. And I'll sit you guys back here and you'll just see what I mean. So we normally call this thing a ripper, but for today we're calling it an aerator, because what has happened is we've had a lot of rain, a 1 in 200 year event, which obviously caused a lot of flooding and a lot of devastation around the district. But it caused our soil to somewhat loosen up, and the cows were on it, of course. And then after that, we've had a lot of frost and the cows have compacted that soil, and now it's like concrete. And then after that, we've had more rain, and now is what's sitting on top is this slimy rain. It's not going away, and it won't drain through the soil, and it won't contact the rest of the soil profile. So is what we want to do is just crack open that soil, as I'm only going down about yay deep, and let the soil breathe. Let the soil contact the air, let it aerate, and so the soil can dry out, or else we're going to end up in trouble and not being able to get that next crop in the ground. So I'll leave you guys back here, but just remember the soil's coming up here, flying up and flying up into the air. Well guys, good morning. So it's currently about 7 o'clock and a lot of you are probably waking up. So that's what we're trying to achieve here, is just a slimy kind of water for parts of the paddock. And of course we can't see it until the whole paddock's dried out. So while we're here, we may as well do the whole paddock, even though not all of it needs doing. What I'm doing is taking that top inch that's slimy and flicking it up and mixing it with the rest of the soil. We do not want to leach nutrients. I just want to be clear with it. What I've done is caught this here wire underneath them weights and it's stretched the wire. Look at my hair. Hey guys, so I've obviously just jumped out of the tractor now. I was just going to show you guys quickly what I mean, because before I was standing way up on the tractor cab and never actually showed you guys the top inch that I'm talking about. So that's what I'm talking about. It's just like a concrete, and it's even hard for me to get through with a spade, even jumping on it. So this is why I'm doing this job. You can see here big lumps of concrete, 7 legs within 3 meters are just lifting that soil and throwing it up in the air, breaking it up and actually doing a real nice job. From the back of the cab, all I can see is soil being flicked up and landing back in these chunks. So that's good. Well guys, you're probably wondering why we're doing this now and not 2 weeks ago or a week ago. We can't go and open up the soil if we've got rain in the forecast. Let's say we get 50 mils of rain, they'll be washing all our nutrients that we've worked hard to gain, not only directly pay for but indirectly pay for, to wash it all through the soil and also wash nutrients into the aquifer. Now if we had rain that came tomorrow, we would be in trouble, but in the forecast there is no rain for the next 2 weeks, so fingers crossed we should get seeding. Okay, so that's one paddock done now. Why are you doing that? You can't be showing off, girl. Come on, you can't be showing off that. Come on now. Settle down, alright? I know you're a dirty girl, but it'll be alright. It'll be alright. Laneway is a little bit of a mess. The cows are just pulling the mud off the paddocks and putting it onto the hard packed track, of course, and it's just becoming quite a slime. But here we are guys in another paddock. As you can see, I ripped that yesterday, and these girls here have finished this paddock. As you can see, they've just got a little bit of grass to clean up down the fence line, that's done. The last fodder beet paddock is over there and they've got about 3 days left. Now, as I just said, I did this paddock yesterday and we're back fenced it off so that these cows can't get back onto this worked ground and pug it. Oh, what's she doing now? Come on, girl. Come on, have a little bit of dignity, please. Yeah, you're right, girl. So obviously the machine's a little bit muddy now, but that just broke a shear bolt. So what that is pretty much a safety device that if I hook something in the ground that's a wee bit tougher than it is, it'll snap that shear bolt and then that leg will just fold back and get out of the way.
Sometimes you need more than once in your lunchbox to get you through the day. Not to worry.
Can see those feeders that are still sitting there in this paddock. Now Dad will be coming up and picking them up, and I'll leave him a little island so that he can come in, turn around, load them feeders up, push that excess straw around and get back out without going on this cultivated land, because we don't want it squished back down and compacted, because then it effectively won't dry out. And here he goes. So as you can see there, he's blowing that straw out, and that's so it doesn't mat when I come along with the ripper. If I come along and he hasn't spread it out, then it'll just bind up the ripper and cause it to mat in front of the ripper, and I'll just be pulling along this big hunk of straw, basically half a bale in front of the ripper. Doesn't do anything, just lifts the ripper out of the ground and causes a massive mess. And it's absolutely torture. Here's my hair. It's absolute torture when that happens, because I've got to drive around slowly drive around the paddock and slowly dump it out in little bits. It can't go out in the big lump, or else I'll be back to square one when I come across that run where I've left it. Now, it may happen again. It's happened once this morning where I've hit one and all the silage, I could see it was silage, just matted up in front of the whole ripper. All 3 meters, all 7 legs, just bound up with silage. So, it's what's happened there is, I've moved the feeder, pushed it around, but haven't pushed it around enough. And the cows have come and used that as bedding. And it's even worse with silage than it is straw. So that's why we kick it out after the feeders have been through. Please don't mess up, please don't mess up, please don't mess up. Please don't mess up. It's some of that mineral powder that the another paddock done. I'm just going to leave the gates open though, so that the air can get in, but of course down the bottom end I've left the gate open as well so that the moisture can get out. So if you've got air going in and the moisture get out, should work. Pretty sure that should work. So into the next paddock now. So I'll do the same thing, AB line, take every about 4th or 5th line, and then come back filling in the gaps with every 2nd island, if you will. So I'll be doing big circles, but then slowly coming back to the start, or the finish. We've just looked through our paddock program and there is no paddock here for paddock M. So delete that out and then N. Yep, all good. Now push A because I'm in the corner and then I go for it. So now all I do is just drive straight up the fence line, then at the end I'll push B and that's my AB line, and then that's got the GPS in a straight line for the rest of the paddock. Can hopefully finish off cultivation soon, because we had a look through our diary on when we planted wheat and oats last year, and it was effectively this week, which is a wee bit worrying for us as we're still trying to dry things out, right? slowly becoming the 11th hour. And we don't want to get to that. We don't want to get to the 11th hour because, think about it, if we plant later, then we've got to harvest later. If we harvest later, then that next crop has got to be later. So it puts a whole lot of stress and a bit of a backlog, if you will, on all the crops.